Good morning. I'm Diana Dibble, Vice President of Integrated Marketing Communications for American Dairy Association Northeast. On behalf of our organization, the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, and the dairy farm families of Pennsylvania, welcome to the official unveiling of the 2023 butter sculpture. This is the 32nd buttery creation that will entertain the crowds here at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. In just a moment, you'll hear from our special guests joining me here at the podium, including the Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding. Also in the crowd, I'd like to acknowledge CEO of American Dairy Association Northeast, John Chrisman. From Land O'Lakes, the Carlisle plant, Amanda Reif, Eric Love, Chad Fogelsanger, Lori Furman, Joe Parson, Dina Black, and Tyrus Wilson. Thank you for your donation of butter. We have our Pennsylvania Dairy Princesses, State Princess Selena Horst, and alternates Natalie Grumbine and Darcy Hetzel. We have representatives from 4-H State Council and Future Farmers of America state officers and the Center for Dairy Excellence. I'd also like to thank our partners at the Department of Agriculture and the Farm Show team on site here for all of their support. After remarks, we'll unveil the sculpture and have plenty of time for photos and interviews. It is now my pleasure to introduce Steve Harnish to speak on behalf of the state's dairy farmers. Steve is a partner at Central Manor Dairy in Lancaster County, family-owned and operated for 3 generations. The dairy and the Harnish family are deeply embedded into the fabric of their local community in Washington Borough and have been tireless advocates for sustainability and agriculture at all levels. Their approach is to engage young consumers through classroom visits, farm tours, and social media, and provide them with a solid knowledge base for how sustainability and agriculture go hand in hand. Steve?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today on behalf of Pennsylvania's dairy farmers. For more than 3 decades, in cooperation with the PA Department of Agriculture, we've brought a remarkable butter sculpture to the Pennsylvania Farm Show. The butter sculpture is a creative way to showcase the dairy industry. This impressive creation also provides an opportunity for us to tell our story. Like most farms in the Commonwealth, Central Manor Dairy has deep roots. Our farm has been operating in Manor Township, Lancaster County for 3 generations. 2023 is our 80th year as member owners of Land O'Lakes. It's very likely some small part of the sculpture behind me came from our farm. It's a really special experience being with you here today. On a typical day, I'd be doing morning chores alongside family members. My wife Becky and I are partners, along with my brother and a cousin and their spouses. We spend our time taking care of cows, managing crops in the field, or doing equipment maintenance. In addition to all that work, we felt a responsibility to interact with the broader community around us. Farm tours are a perfect way to show off calves or watch cows being milked. But then we can walk around and see all the conservation practices we've implemented. We want people to walk past our riparian buffer and cover crops and stormwater containment and understand the dairy industry's commitment to sustainable farming. Over the years, I've hosted preschool classes, over 1,000 third graders, as well as industry and government leaders, and I see my fellow dairy farmers doing the same advocacy on their farms. Individually, there's only so much you can do with one farm in one part of the state. That's why the Farm Show is so special. Today's consumers are looking to advance really big societal goals around nutrition, climate, food security. We put together this unique experience where farmers can interface with a huge group of consumers. We want to tell our story. The story is we have deep roots and we're committed to progress. I'd like to thank our sculptors, Jim Victor and his wife Marie Pelton, for the many days of hard work they put behind this year's sculpture. Your dedication and artistry are truly appreciated. I'd also like to recognize Land O'Lakes for donating more than 1,000 pounds of butter for the sculpture. Thank you for your continued support. There are a number of people sitting here today that don't work on a dairy farm, but work tirelessly on our behalf to ensure our success. Thank each of you so much. And to the other 5,200 Pennsylvania dairy farm families, who work hard to produce safe, wholesome, delicious milk while protecting the planet for future generations. Thank you. We all appreciate you. Thank you for having me here today, Diana. I'll turn the microphone back to you.
Thank you, Steve. More than 1,000 pounds of butter were used for this year's sculpture, and here to talk about their work, which included 14 days inside the butter booth, are the talented sculptors and husband and wife Jim Victor and Marie Pelton of Montgomery County.
Hi, good morning. We're thankful to be here, and I just want to start off by thanking the people that make this thing possible, and of course we are one of those, some of those people, but also Diana and Gail from the American Dairy Association Northeast, Russell Redding, the Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Pennsylvania, most of all the hardworking dairy farmers of Pennsylvania. They make it possible. And of course, the people here at the Farm Show building, JR, and the people in the shop here, in the wood shop, and all the people who help us security have been wonderful this year and every year. So thank you for that. And I'll let it to my wife to talk about the sculpture.
Good morning, everyone. Jim and I are so pleased to be here again, participating in the butter sculpture for the Pennsylvania Farm Show. It's always been an honor for us, and we want to thank also the Land O'Lakes for donating the 1,000 pounds of butter used to make this sculpture over the past 10 to 14 days. Yeah, it's a very proud tradition to honor the hardworking dairy farmers in the state of Pennsylvania and the products that they produce, and to really shine a spotlight on that whole community. And so we hope you enjoy the sculpture, and thank you so very much.
Thank you, Jim and Marie. Now, please welcome the 26th Secretary of Agriculture for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Russell Redding.
Thank you. Diana, thank you. Good morning, everybody. It is good to see you. It is comforting to be here in this Farm Show complex. You know, since 1991, this butter sculpture has been sort of the cornerstone and the unofficial sort of launch of our farm show, and for 32 years. We are proud to have this partnership with the dairy industry here in Pennsylvania. So to all who are part of that, thank you for the work that you do and support here today. This year's Farm Show theme is Rooted in Progress, and the dairy industry certainly is a key cornerstone of that and captures that theme very, very well. Pennsylvania dairy has deep roots in Pennsylvania. It goes back centuries. It began with a few cows on every farm. It evolved as society and science changed that as well. It is now a $14 billion powerhouse in this state. As the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show unfolds, you will see the roots of progress throughout our complex. In some cases, they will be obvious. If you go to the hardwoods display in our conservation pod, if you want to be a farmer display, that is all obvious. But equally important are the areas where it's not so obvious. And dairy is one of those. Why? They are deep roots, but they're sometimes difficult to see those roots. PA Dairy is rooted in the improvements in dairy genetics, in nutrition. It's the advancements in animal care. It's the food safety standards that have been established, the innovation, the distribution of product, the research work that our land-grant university at Penn State has done over time. It's the work of our Penn Vets and the University of Pennsylvania Veterinary Medical School. It's the work of our Center for Dairy Excellence. All of that allows us to stand here today and recognize the importance of dairy to our state and honor the deep roots that we have of dairy. But also today, we are in the comfort of this space, and we recognize that this is only possible for us to join, to recognize agriculture in the state and celebrate it, to have a butter sculpture, to have the products and people because of the dairy farm families in this state. Okay? We're not here to celebrate dairy because it's not important. We're celebrating it because it's critical to our past and equally so to the future of Pennsylvania. In agriculture, we live and breathe that progress. Over the last 107 years, growing from the seeds and roots planted by so many others that came before us, we watch this farm show grow over time. It's always been a privilege to meet the many individuals who define what rooted in progress really means. Theirs are the faces of Pennsylvania agriculture. It's the Amish and the English. It's the first generation and the 10th generation. It's rural and it's urban. They're the dairy producers, the urban gardeners, the food processors, the food banks. It's youth pursuing their dreams and careers in agriculture and so much more. And each story is unique, but they're all rooted in progress. Their story is our story. Together we are feeding a community, the commonwealth, and sharing the abundance of what we produce both here at home and around the globe. So I want to thank our dairy producers who are part of this amazing industry, those who every day work on behalf of promoting the industry, like the American Dairy Association Northeast, and Diana, our dairy royalty, who take a year of their young lives to go out and promote dairy and talk about what it means to both our food system, the values that we share in this state, the culture that is part of our commonwealth. So we say thank you to Selena and Natalie and Darcy for doing that. To Steve Harnish, he very humbly stands here and talks about his dairy, right? I love the stories because of what they tell, right? He has done an amazing job and his words are inspiring. The dairy producers and the dairy farm families are at the heart of everything we do here at the department and why we honor for 107 years agriculture in this commonwealth. A special thanks to Jim and Marie, who somehow they do this. They take this sketch and bring it to life, right? And I always admire that they can walk up here, stand up straight, right? After spending weeks inside of this case in the cool conditions. They stand here and talk about this sculpture. And to Land O'Lakes, of course, and our friends at the Rydford Farms in Juniata County that will accept this butter at the end, thank you for what you do. So let me end where I began with a simple thank you to the farm families of Pennsylvania for providing us a reason to celebrate, a reason to come together and confirm and affirm our roots and our progress. So thank you, Diana, for being here. Welcome to Farm Show. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Redding. I'd now like to invite Secretary Redding, Steve Harnish, Jim Victor, and Marie Pelton, and our Pennsylvania State Dairy Princess, Selena Horst, to come forward for the unveil. You have the magic remote.
Okay, ready?
Ready? 3, 2, 1. One panel here. Yep. Let me just get that last panel opened.
There's one that didn't go
Yep.
there. One that didn't go up. Yeah. Let me see what window is that.
1 minute here.
It's the opposite of the number 4.
Number 4, so it's 2. There we go. Okay. This year's sculpture, Pennsylvania Dairy Rooted in Progress for Generations to Come, showcases the importance of the dairy industry's tradition and its focus on sustainability. The sculpture depicts several generations of a dairy farming family enjoying a moment together amid the backdrop of their family farm, celebrating how they work together to produce wholesome food for their community in a sustainable way. Dairy farmers worked with their loved ones on land where they have deep roots but are always farming for the future. Thank you for attending the unveiling of the 2023 Pennsylvania Farm Show Butter Sculpture.
Good. Thank you.